All right, guys, another episode of Shallonomics. Something new here. We are doing the top 5 of every Ninja Turtle. This is from the entire Turtle multiverse from 1984 all the way to present day 2025. Could be a comic, could be a movie, could be a cartoon, could even be something else that our buddy Justin's got for us. We're with our guest, Justin Cooper, the co-host of Epic Tales from the Sewers with his buddy Eric Will. Justin's been on here a couple times. If you guys haven't checked out previous episodes, we've done the top 10 of the Fred Wolf era in the cartoons. Justin, you ready for this?
I am so prepared. I dressed for the occasion, wearing my Leonardo golf shirt, drinking my Leonardo coffee mug, wearing my Leonardo headband on the turtle communicator. So I'm ready to go.
And I hope your teeth are okay in case you tried some of that old Ninja Turtle breakfast cereal, because we're doing this one pretty early.
No, but I did have some of that old 1989 Ninja Turtle gum from the animation card packs. So
there you go.
We'll see how that shakes out.
Very nice. So let's get started here. So why Leonardo, and has Leonardo always been your favorite?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Leo is everything that I aspire to be, with the discipline, the way that he approaches problems, specifically martial arts. When you study martial arts and all that, Leo has to be, your guiding light, because it's like, okay, practice, get the moves down, listen to what the master has to say. And that was always my approach when I was studying martial arts and all that. And it was just like, okay, Leonardo mindset, I got to be Leonardo right now. And then just like, when you think about this character, some people don't get him and they're like, oh, he's just like a cop, he's a narc, he's anything. Be like, well, you clearly don't get Cyclops either. He takes the world's problems on his shoulders. He's not the smart one. He's not the best fighter sometimes. Sometimes he is. He's not the funny one, but he has all of those traits, and he kind of finds the best way to use his brother's skills and figure everything out. And that's really what his superpower has been. And I will point out, he is the one that got the hit in on Batman in the Ninja Turtles Batman first crossover. None of them could touch him, but Leo hit him with a flying sidekick. So, just saying.
Correct, you are. And we were blessed to be a guest on your show not too long ago, talking about the 1990s movie and how much we enjoyed Leonardo's role. I'm bringing this up because there's that one scene where Raphael's in the bathtub and Leo just feels so much guilt and regret letting his anger get him. So have you ever reflected on what Leonardo would do in a situation when you were younger or older? Because, again, he always butts heads with his brother Raphael. So have you ever used Leo's inspiration to be like, you know what, I'm going to be the bigger person here?
Yeah, absolutely, because he's also a moral compass at times for the team, and you can take that and put it into your own life. And I mean, it's like, look, I'm 44 and all that. It's like I still think about what comic books and how cartoons would treat people and things. So absolutely. But there's also this sense of righteousness that comes with Leo, where he's like, 87 cartoons, surrender, Shredder, or face the consequences of your actions. It's like that sort of thing always stuck with me. And it's like, yeah, I do kind of see things like that. Like, people should be held accountable for, injustices and things like that. And I've found that from, elementary school bullies all the way up to, defending a coworker at work. Like, I don't take it to the extreme, but obviously it's like, all right, well, if Jones stole somebody's birthday cake, we gotta hold on them.
Now, like, we've got to do something here. So what this is going to entail, for those who are here for the first time, is Justin and I came up with our own list of our top 5 favorite Leonardo incarnations from any multiverse. Obviously, it's hard to just choose 5 because these guys have been going strong for 40 years. So we do have an honorable mention. In case you guys are just listening on Spotify, we are a gamer on Twitch, and we love video games. So my honorable mention is the 2003 Game Boy Advance featured video game here. And if I did not have Leonardo in this game, Justin, I don't think I could beat this game. He has a very nice special. It's an old school charge attack where you throw your katana at Shredder. Unfortunately, you have to beat this game on normal or higher. I always tried a lazy river game approach now in my 40s, just try to beat it on easy first. But that's not allowed in order to get the true ending, so to speak. So we had to spice it up a little bit, and I couldn't get going with Mike. Raph is very good, but not good when it comes to Shredder for a rookie like me. And similar, like you said, he's a very balanced character, as he is in the video games, too. He's also very good in the 1989 arcade game. because of his balance. I like his speed and his strength. He's got decent reach. So this is my honorable mention here. Did you have any honorable mentions? I'm sure you'd probably give me 10, but I appreciate if you only have a couple.
If we are sticking with a video game, I'm going to go with the Mutant in Manhattan, the third Nintendo game with Leonardo.
Oh, yes.
And I got to do that because his special was kind of like the spin around, long reach sort of attack. And I figured out early on how to beat that game was to hold the down button when you strike, so you kill foot soldiers with one hit.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just kind of surprising that it's like, oh, people don't know this. People don't do this. It's easy with any of them. It's of course really easy with Donatello, but Leo has that better attack because he's not doing like a stupid donkey kick like Mikey. The drill's pretty good with Raph, but it kind of sets you up for getting hit right afterwards. And Johnny's got the roll, which is not super effective, I found. So Leo's my character of choice for the third NES game.
And it's actually funny you bring it up because his special, there's actually attributes on some gaming nerds found this out, is his special actually hits the second strongest. And I always liked his special too because it reminds me of the 1990s movie where he's doing that spin around. I don't know if that was inspired by that, but you remember that spot where he's fighting the foot soldiers on the rooftop and he just starts spinning around? It's kind of where I thought that came from. Coming up next, Justin actually, before we went live, gave me another good idea here. He wants to do action figures also.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had
you have a picture of yours?
I do not, but I'm going to share it though, because again, we've had our good friend Josh on here a lot talking from the old toy line. And even though he's not the surfer, I always liked that, the surfing Leo that came out later in life. It's a shinier mold. It's very crisp. It's very rare too, by the way, compared to the surfer Mike. I like the colors. It's very vibrant. I used to have that one part of my collection. That's my action figure, but I got to hear from one of the big boy Leos here what he's got, because you got a very nice collection behind us too.
Yeah, and it's all like mostly Leo. This is my honorable mention, which is my favorite Leonardo action figure that they've probably released, which is the Last Ronin Leonardo. He doesn't survive the series, but this is rendered like perfectly by Ben Bishop, the artist for The Last Ronin, issue 3, where Casey and Leo get exploded by a whole bunch of Mousers. Spoiler alert. But I mean, the figure's amazing. Like, it's so cool. He's got like this sort of like chic ninja thing going on with like all kinds of like hidden shurikens and stuff, and he just looks amazing. So this is my favorite Leonardo figure. I adore it. Yeah,
and he looks all business, and that's your version of Leo. That's why I like about just how there's so many different Leonardos out there, and this is your version of Leo. Where
he's really awesome,
collected, strong.
Just really awesome in like the same art style that he's in the comic, and you so rarely see that. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And we'll do a plug for Justin later. But if you guys haven't yet, be sure to check out Justin's Epic Tales from the Sewers. That's one of the reasons why I wanted Justin on there, is he's a huge comic book guy when it comes to the Turtles. So I'm pretty sure we're going to at least have one comic alteration in your top 5 as we break this down. Maybe more. All right. So coming down here for number 5, we just wrapped up this series with TMNT Dare Talk. I'm going with 2012 Leo. I like this character from start to finish. Jason Biggs voiced him, and then Seth Green took over for him in a later series. What I enjoyed about him is it shows Leonardo as a role, and you get to grow and he evolves, because he wasn't the leader in the beginning. It's a really cool spot because Leo, he goes to Splinter, why did you pick me to be the leader? Because you asked. And then later in the other seasons, he'll explain, no, it was more to that, but just I wanted to not get you, too hyped up with your ego. And it's just great to see this Leo come along. He liked this TV show, Space Heroes. He tried to mimic, as a kid, we did the same thing. We implemented what we saw on TV or in music, some of us. So he tried using that strategy. And of course, kind of like we talked about, how he took out Batman. He's the one who finishes Shredder in season 4. Not only Shredder, Super Shredder.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed where this guy came. Did you like this show at all, Justin, the 2012 show?
Absolutely. This is my favorite Ninja Turtles cartoon version. Absolutely. It has everything in it. The character development and all that is here. You get changes, and you could almost argue at any point, it's like, oh, this show's more about Donnie, or this show's more about Mikey, or this show's more about It's like they all have their moments. And I feel like maybe Leo got some really good moments, but not as many as the others, which is something that they're kind of sometimes guilty of with these, like maybe
Sure.
in the movies. But yeah, like the episode Fungus Humongous where he's on his own fighting a giant mind controlling mushroom, like that's a great one. The Vision Quest one where he has to kind of go on this Vision Quest to figure out how to overcome his mental fear of injury and all that. And he sees
Yes.
that stag and he's fighting a giant kaiju shredder. I'm like, it's amazing. And he's just so down too. Like they're playing was it like Mutants and Dungeons or something like that?
Yeah.
And he's just ready. He's like, "Oh, I'm the knight." I'm like, "Of course you are." It's it's just so much fun. I
I,
think he's great. I am all Seth Green all the way though. I'll be honest with you. Just I think he did so much better than Jason Biggs. Really got the feeling that Biggs didn't want to be there after a while. So it's like, oh, orange is the new black, but turtles are not cool anymore. All right.
yeah.
Okay, Jason. Yeah.
No, you hit the nail on the head there. And I didn't. And I was again. I'm like, how is Seth Green going to do this? I love him in Family Guy. He's great as Chris, Robot Chicken.
Yep.
Tons of movies he's been in. And I was like, is he really going to be able to pull this off? And he did. He did a great job with Leo in this.
It's the original Richie from the Stephen King's It.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Good call. All right, who we got cooking for you? I'm excited to hear. Like I said, I'm more excited about the guests for this top 5 than mine here, because you guys are the passionate ones with these turtles here. So,
all right, let me see. My image didn't pop in, so let me put this one back in. My number 5. I want to show you this one, which I'm sure there's going to be some overlap here, but here we go. This is my number 5, the 2007 version from the movie TMNT. Leo starts out where he is kind of training in the jungle, and he's gone away, and we don't have much explanation on it. And April just happens to show up because now she's an antiquities dealer, and she's working with what's his name, Dean Winters or something
Max
Winters. I don't know.
Max Winters.
Max Winters. There it is. So I don't know. Max and Dean. Yeah, there's Sam and Dean. But yeah. So she just happens to be there, and he's solving problems in the jungle. And he's this ghost, and he's just totally destroying people who are doing like this terrible things. So he's like a revolutionary, and he's like, yeah, Master Splinter sent me here so I could learn to be a better leader. And I'm like, I don't know if we ever really get an explanation on that. Like, it doesn't seem like that was the real reason, but there's probably more to it. But I think ego is part of it. But this is awesome. And we talked about when he comes back and he's trying to reunite the team, and he has this showdown with the Night Watcher, who happens to be Raphael, and they have this epic battle for about 4 or 5 minutes on the rooftop. It is one of the most pleasing things to watch as an Turtles fan. It's just so awesome.
What I love about this too is it's funny because some people, what we grew up with, PG, people were complaining that fight was PG. Some people, I can't believe it. Like, what? There's no blood. It's okay for people to see violence. They're not stabbing each other. I thought that was a great thing.
Why would they?
Yeah,
they're brothers.
Exactly. And did you actually? The other cool thing about this movie is, did you ever get to read the prequel comics leading up to the movie? There are actually some mini issues, and it talks a little more about his quest, which I loved. It actually helped me get more interest for the movie.
I have one of them. I don't think I have all of them, but I have like one. I have like the Raph version of it. Okay. But those for some reason have been harder to come by for me, so I'll just have to get them like on eBay or something like that. But yeah. I had the novelization. I have the CD of the soundtrack. The big hit was Gym Class Heroes, so that tells you about what was going on at this time in 2007. Geez, I have all the action figures. I just got a new version of the Karai and the Casey Jones.
Oh,
so I got the Casey Jones. So I adore this movie. I think this would have been like, if they said it was canon, a perfect, oh, this is the 4th film. Okay, cool. Like that's where we are now. Yeah. And the cool thing about this Leonardo, right? I got the chance to meet the voice actor, James Arnold Taylor, and he does the intro to pretty much every single episode of my show. So, he's the guy that did the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars and all that. I met him at, I think C2E2 maybe a couple of years ago, and I got him to do this, and I'm like, worth it. Amazing. I love this version.
Oh man, no, I do too. And I was actually going to ask you that. It's funny you brought that up in regards to how you like the voice actor. I thought this Leonardo was fantastic. He was very calm, stern. You know, when you need to let out emotion, he would. And one of my favorite lines here is, you know, with him and Splinter, it's a lesson I actually use when I'm a team lead at work, because Leonardo's trying to, you know, there's a spot where he's bitching and moaning, and Splinter just yells at him, "There are no excuses when you are the leader. Like, zip it. You can't make excuses. You're in charge." And that was like, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. So I love that spot, and Leo learns from that. And how'd you like how it went 50-50? You know, they each got their own win pretty much, Leo and Raph. Were you okay with that as a Leo fan?
It's weird because there's even like our friend Michelle Ivy, she has a theory that Leo let Raph win. And I'm like, I can see that too, but I think that at the end of the day, you have to understand that they are so different, those two. And Raphael's weapon is literally designed to neutralize Leonardo's weapon. So it's like there's really not a question of how a weapons fight is going to go with those two. It all comes down to what happens afterwards and all that. And they're not perfect. They make mistakes. Leo, caught off guard by that it was actually Raph, got angry and he made a mistake. And his mistake was locking swords with a sword breaker, which is what a sai is. So it's like, he lost that one due to his own emotions. So I don't think skill was involved.
Yeah,
so I'm happy with it because that's how it should have turned out, because their weapons are so diametrically opposed.
Yeah, and my friend actually appreciated that too. When he first saw this, he was like, I really like that they actually showed on screen what size are supposed to do. Not many people know that. So I thought that was great too. I think that was the first time in either movies or animation that actually happened with the Turtles too. It may have happened in the comics, but I can't recall any time besides that. So, no, I'm with you. That's a great choice for number 5. Number 4 for me is going to shock people here because there's an original trilogy of the movies, and I'm going with Ninja Turtles number 3 for my pick. Now, the reason I have this pick is, in my honest opinion, first movie, Leonardo's learning his role. I love that Leo there. He learns he has to, get the boys, pretty much with his, quest, almost like the Vision quest in the 2012 show, with his meditation with Splinter. Second movie, he was just way too whiny for me. All he does is complain. There's still a little bit more stuff to help with Michelangelo. He just seemed like he was too much of a whiner, worried. But, again, maybe you can counter that and say it was just a teenager in him because his emotions, possibly because they are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But in the third one, I love his cockiness. He pretty much takes on anybody. I also like his attitude. He's able to throw a couple jokes. He does the swing. Where in the world you don't really see Leonardo doing that in any other, pretty much movie. What else I enjoy about this is just he's pretty much the main star. I know we brought up Michelle Ivy, and they do say this is Michelangelo's movie, which I can understand because there's a lot more character development with him. However, in my opinion, Leonardo steals the show. He just does all. He's got his happy pitch voice. And, well, they felt for it. He's got one of my other favorite lines. Fight's over. We're closed. Where he just shuts the door and the guy's coming on in. Brian Tochi does an amazing job with the voicing in this one. It was really cool. He actually did all 3 movies. Yeah. And he takes on, he's not afraid of Walker and Lord Norinaga. He takes them both on. He is the one who has the epic sword battle at the end too. And again, it's sarcastic. Instead of cutting his head, he just cuts a little off the top for a haircut. His jokes still work with me. What else? And I just like how he pretty much embraces the leadership role in this movie. I guess you're going to have to watch it again for those who haven't seen this movie, because a lot of you are not fans of this movie. I know me and Justin know there's a lot of backlash on the forums and the groups that just, casual fans don't like it. But I really thought this is a great movie. I like it from start to finish. Really not much more to say, but that's why Leo's my number 4 here. Did you like the third movie at all?
I like this movie. To clarify, one of my listeners literally texted me last week, and what do you got against the third movie? I'm like, Jonathan, I'm sorry. Look, this movie looks weird and awesome at the same time. If you look at like the animatronic heads and all that, it's we are getting into, like the last mutation and all that. I like the movie. It's fine. It's not even the worst movie. It's not even like the second worst movie or anything else like that. Like it's fine. It's cool. And I love when they're all dressed up like as samurai and all that. Really fun. And we brought back Casey. Yes. Casey got to hang out with Paige Turco April. Awesome. Like I like so much about it. even a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, but like, is it my favorite? Not really. No.
Yeah. When it comes to yeah, right. Of course, when it comes
I
to
love
favorites,
Brian Tochi though. You know.
yeah. And he also saves Yoshi's life too. I mean, so he has a lot of moments in this movie. If you're a Leonardo fan, I do recommend you guys give this one a watch. And even in the beginning where they're doing the intro, it's almost like he's showing off because my buddies and I, when we were kids, we'd imitate wrestling moves. We used to imitate the intro to this movie because I'd be Mikey. I'd go up to with my little whatever kind of socks or something I used to the nunchucks, and my buddy, he would get so dizzy trying to do that 360 kick all the way around like he does in the beginning.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh man, well that is my number 4. Let's hear what you got, Justin.
All right, let's see. So, kind of sticking with this one. Let me get mine up here. Let's see. Your number 4 and my number 4 are really similar.
Okay.
Let's see. Boom. My number 4 is the 1990 and 1991 movie Leo.
Nice.
On here. So I agree with you. Still great with a great Brian Tochi doing the voice. This, like, seeing your favorite character live and in the flesh and all that, like, is amazing. And you have to admit, like, looking at the first movie, it hits different than all the others. And my favorite movie, for the record, is the second movie. Like, I have said that numerous times. I'm going to continue to say that. But the way the turtles look in the first movie compared to the second, to the third, and all that first look when you see them, like, look at the difference here.
Yeah. Look at the color of the blue too. Just looking at this photograph, and just the blue, just the details on that blue.
Everything.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I tried to pull out some specific movie moments from this one, and one of the best moments I think is that rooftop shredder fight scene. And Leo is the one that kind of catches him on his arm that really, like, pisses him off. Like, and that's when Shredder kind of realizes, oh crap, they're just gonna pick me apart one by one, Like, yeah. I'm outclassed and all that, so he has to take out Leo. He dies. No.
Yeah. Well, Leo's anger gets the best one because he's talking about his dad, and you don't want you talking about Papa.
You lie. So good. And like you said, the scene where he's sitting and he's just like Leonardo has stood watch over Raphael, and Raph's like, hey, what's the guy got to do to get some food? He wants some food. Bring some food.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows, like, the different levels of the character where it's like, yeah, he's a hard ass prick with his brother, but his brother's hard to deal with, and it's like, he loves him. He loves his family. They're trying to protect him. And there's just so many good moments like that in these movies. And my one from the second is, let's celebrate with a pre-fight donut.
And he's so energetic and enthused about it too. That's the best.
Yeah, I would say this is my number 4, Leo. Oddly enough, I do not at all collect the NECA action figures for the movies. I just I drew a line and I said, I'm not going to get these because I can't get everything. I don't have room for it. So they are not at all even on my shelves, and that's my number 4. So
oh my gosh. Well, maybe Santa Claus can help you out with that one day.
I don't know. I think I'm just the only one I have is, like, I have the Danny Pennington, and I haven't even opened him. So
is that from the Loot Crate exclusive?
Yeah, from Loot Crate. Yeah.
Okay.
Literally the only one I ever got.
Very nice. No, I can't disagree here. I enjoy the movie. Obviously, we're talking just Leonardo specifically in this, and he definitely demonstrates his leadership role because Raph's talking smack to him about being a great leader, and he's like, I never said that. What are you talking about? So it's nice.
I never said I was a great leader. Yeah.
And he's just very relaxed in this too. He's not as but he does let his emotions out too. Like say, anger gets the best of him, and as you just brought up, when Raphael comes back to consciousness, and he's actually a really good fighter too.
We were talking about this with Liddy on my show, and she was saying that moment where they show up at April's house again. She's like, "What's wrong?" Winter,
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're all crying, and oh my god, that and just like when he's sitting and meditating, and he's the one that makes contact with Splinter, and then you have, like, what's probably everyone's favorite scene in the movie when they're sitting at the fire and Splinter comes up, and it's like, oh my god, that is so cool.
Oh yeah, and it was so awesome to see the 35th anniversary because just the flame and the colors were just so much brighter in that.
Everything looked amazing on the screen. It was just so great.
I had a great time talking with you guys as well a couple weeks ago about that. That was very cool for us Turtle fans. And then you get your movie next year, I believe, too, right?
Yeah. Secret of the Ooze.
So that should be a good time as well. Hopefully we get some more extras, too, if our buddy can fix that. It was really cool seeing that. And the comics before the movie, too.
Oh,
little
definitely.
trailer spots.
And they just re-released the movie adaptation too. So
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, coming in at number 3, we're going to go to the comic world here, and I really enjoy the IDW series. I have yet to finish that series, but I did read books, I believe, 1 through up to Bebop and Rocksteady, like their
destroy
little
everything.
spin-off
Okay.
there. Yeah, and Dark Leonardo, man. I don't know where this came from. I wish this would have been in a movie somewhere, because you see this in so many other cartoons and kid shows like Evil Green Ranger. There's the Street Fighter animated movie where, Ken and Ryu are kind of fighting each other. And it's really cool to see Dark Leo. Now, in the 2003 show, Shredder tries to get him to go dark, but he doesn't. But in here, he does. And there was just so much iconic stuff. There's Funko Pops of Dark Leonardo. There's action figures.
There's
I
the
really
minibus statue that I get next month.
Oh, man, nice.
It's like
So-
yay big. So
I'm not sure if this one's in your top 5, but how did you go about liking this Leonardo? Because, again, you're more the comic guy than I am, so you can actually give our listeners here a lot more details as just to how cool and iconic this Dark Leo character is.
I don't want to bury the lead on this one, but
Okay.
he may show up on my list as well.
Okay.
Dark Leo is really amazing. There's some awesome parts in the IDW comics, specifically issues 25 through 29. And then there is like a lot with Karai and him going on, and kind of like the relationship that they have. And it really sets things up down the road. It is masterfully done. Tom Waltz, the writer, doing this. It starts off with Mateus Santaluco doing the artwork. And I mean, it's like, wow, this is everything that I want in a comic book. This is friggin' amazing. And they're manipulating Leonardo using images of his like past reincarnation life with his mother, and it's like mystical and just kind of crazy. It deals with like all these things like betrayal and truthfulness, and like, oh, you're not telling me the truth. Well, you have to view the truth through this lens of like this mystical being Kitsune and stuff. And it's just really crazy. And then like you find there's deeper layers to it, like, oh, was this really just a test from the Shredder to test loyalty for Karai? Because that's literally how he got or we got Bebop and Rocksteady. Because Karai was like, well, if he wants mutants, I'll give him mutants, and I'll make him more powerful mutants than even Leonardo. So yeah, I mean, there's so much with this. This book that we're showing right here, the Dark Leo collection, has the Deviation special in it, which was one of my favorite books. And I got to talk to Zach Howard, who did the art on it. He was doing all kinds of prints and stuff when I met him at C2E2. I have a big Dark Leo print up on my wall. You guys can't see it, but from Zach Howard. They also used all of those little images in the what is it, Shadows of the Past game?
Oh, yes, it's just, yeah, that's
The game. Like, there's a whole pack that you can get for those. So the Deviations pack.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like all the designs are just absolutely peak designs. It's like, what would all the turtles look like if they were dressed as Foot Clan members and stuff. So the iconic red scarf, and he's got like the Shredder sort of claws. Such an amazing version of Leonardo.
And something I never thought would happen, a turtle siding with Shredder.
Yeah.
Never, ever in a million years would I have ever thought that. So what do we got on your side here for number 3?
Okay, number 3. Let me see if that's there. Oh, let me add him in, and I will share with you my number 3. And I'm sure there's going to be some overlap on this one. I picked the 2003 version of Leonardo.
With a smile on his face. Nice
With
find.
a smile, yeah. I liked this one because it got to show him actually having emotions. He's a thinker. He's not just like a reckless guy. He's a bit more bossy in this series, but I feel like his feats really outweigh his flaws in this series. We get what, like, was it like 6 to 7 seasons by the time we get to fast forward, and then like fast forward the second season to that one. So, there's a lot. And he's a badass. Like, he is absolutely formidable. At one point he beats the Shredder, and we find out that the Shredder is an alien, and he didn't kill him and cut off his head because he's a robot. He goes toe to toe with Bishop and like all these other characters that it's like, wow, he really has a chance against like these intergalactic Mortal Kombat ninjas. Like probably one of the most skilled versions of Leo that exists. Like maybe besides like the comic and all that, but maybe even because of the comic. Like they based the video game on this one, the second one where they started giving him like mystical powers, or was that the third? But yeah, I think this is one of the most dangerous versions of the character ever.
And that's what I wanted to ask you too. That's why I also wanted to bring you on, because again, you're more the comic guy. You've read all the original comics. This cartoon pays homage to the original comics, especially that gauntlet that he fights. I mean, he pretty much takes on the entire Foot Clan by himself. He's got the foot soldiers on the rooftop, then the elites come in, and then finally, you take him on. It's like, he's back, the Shredder. So, how did you enjoy the original comic? Making an appearance, so to speak, in this 2003 show. Did you like how they ramped up?
I loved it. I thought it was great. It's one of those things like we didn't have anything that they improved on better by the time that this came out, so it was all the Mirage stuff. And to say it's like the first maybe 12 or 13 issues of the Mirage comic were awesome. Yep. But they're not like the best things you've ever read, but it's like that's all you had at that point, so they're going off of this. So it's like, oh, that's cool. Like I know the rooftop scene, or I know like City at War, or I know like what's going on when he fights the Shredder, and he cuts his head off. Like I know what that's supposed to look like in the comics. How are they going to transfer that over to animation and make it compelling and all that for something that some of our fans have already seen? They did an amazing job here, and it's like the whole idea. It's like, he's actually an Utrom. So you didn't kill him. That makes more sense than bringing him back with a bunch of worms. So it's kind of like, oh wait, there's the little shrimp guy. He's there too. So it embraces the weird along with like the cool parts of Mirage, but also kind of improves them, updates them, much like if you're a Spider-Man fan, like how Ultimate Spider-Man took Spider-Man and brought him to the next century. Like, oh, this is what it would be like if we did it today. That was this Turtles in 2003. It's like not everything works the same as it did in 1984. Like we have cell phones now, so things are different.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have a favorite fight scene or favorite moment? I mean, it's hard to choose just one, but anything that stands out just as we're doing this podcast right now from this show.
I love the whole idea of him going to like the intergalactic ninja, tournament where he's going to fight the daimyo and like all of that kind of stuff. Like I love that. It was even better that Michelangelo won on an absolute fluke, which was great. But it was so funny how everybody was like putting all this stuff into Leo, and they're like, "Oh, you got this, Leo." Oh, yeah. And it's like, all right, that was great. His fights with like I feel like the underrated fights are like him and those Foot Elite going at it because they're like absolutely formidable, and he's really like fighting with them. But him fighting with Karai as well is just awesome.
How'd you like his chemistry with Usagi Yojimbo too? Did you see that coming? I'm sure, like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Another great moment, like where he's fighting that giant snake. That was really cool. I mean, I think he's awesome with Usagi because they complement each other really well. I love that version from the Stan Sakai comic, but I think that Stan only understands Leonardo. Like he doesn't really understand the other turtles. So his Leonardo stuff is great. So those are always awesome, fun interactions.
I agree. Number 2 has already appeared on your list for me, and that is the 2007 Leonardo.
There we go again.
He hits home here. They did such a great job. I really enjoy like how we talked about, maybe Michelle Ivey's theory is correct that he did throw that fight. I don't know, but it kind of makes sense. He had to sacrifice, you got to lose to win, so to speak. Just his tone in this movie is great too. He doesn't really slip up. We talked earlier about the no excuses when you're the leader. I just want to irritate that again. I really enjoy how even he struggles, and I always like that quest in the beginning of the movie too, where they're all separate. They're all doing their own thing. Me and you are both big Muppets guys. I kind of think of the Muppets Take Manhattan, where they all go on their own for a while and they're all doing their own little thing. So that's kind of how I vision that too, where they all have to do their own little, life lessons, so to speak, before they can get reunited. Leo Raph fight, that's probably one of the coolest fights we'll ever see in any Turtles, era, anything, whether it's comics, movies, whatever. Just seeing that, it's something I think fans always wanted too, just to see like what would happen, because it's always just like a little like, shut up, you shut up. Like, no, it's all right, that's it. I'm done taking orders. And just the shock of Leonardo's face, like he actually didn't know it was the Night Watcher. I thought he may have known. You know what I mean? Just because it's the way it was, but I guess because he was out, not around New York, he, didn't know too much about it. So just when he's like, Raph, and another one of my favorite quotes from Leo: "Funny thing about anger, let it consume you. Soon enough, you lose sight of everything." Pow! Isn't that almost like Shoryuken to knock the helmet off? And he has that cool. I didn't even get to ask you, what were your thoughts when he had all the swords? He didn't. My buddy was disappointed because he didn't really use them a lot. But just that image was pretty cool. Remember that where he had almost like a peacock image with all those swords.
That brought me back to Final Fantasy VII, and I think like one of the limit breaks that Cloud Strife has with like all the swords, or maybe it's like Sword Dance or something. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. and of course, he's got like that giant stone sword that he's fighting with too. And I'm like, this is just absurd. I'm like, but I love it. Yeah. I have like most of these action figures too. I think I've got like the Night Watcher, the motorcycle. I think I've got like the Leos, and some of them come with that. I have to get the jungle one that comes with like the paraglider, like that I need to get, but I have most of them. I really like this design, especially the big chonky feet that they have, and like the calves and all. And I'm like, if you could imagine you're fighting someone who has a calf like that kicks you with like their shin, you're going down, man. Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing. Like these guys are dangerous. Like when he hits you, there's weight behind it because he's a friggin' turtle with some mass. They may be short, but they are stout, and like, yeah, he'll wreck you.
The only thing I was disappointed in is that we didn't get a second movie of this. I'm with you. This was fine with it being the fourth film because they took out Shredder. They even say that in the explanation in the beginning of the movie. Karai even talks like a little like, soon you will see some stuff from the past. I mean, so just if you were the writer, I just want to hear your thoughts on where this would have gone if you would have had, I guess, TMNT 2, maybe we call it, because it was kind of being called TMNT, for this film. So what would TMNT 2 have been?
Oh, yeah. What a great question. I like Turtles in Space a lot, and I feel that would be a fun thing to do. Take them up to fight the Triceraton. I mean, if it's my choice, I'm bringing in the Mighty Mutanimals, like that's in Cuddly the Cowlick. But that's kind of like where my head goes. It's like, okay, we've got this. So then we're going to throw a little homage to the Intergalactic Wrestling. Then they're going to go off and fight, what's her name? Maligna and all of it. Like I would absolutely go there. And it's like, yeah, that's what I would want to see. So bring it into the Archieverse and all that. And it's like, yeah, Cuddly Cowlick and everything. The Turnstone, Leatherhead, Mondo Gecko, all those characters coming in, when they fight Null and Maligna. That's where I would go.
Actually would have been, and again, it would have been something different because with the past, you could have Karai in the foot, and then you could have made it a trilogy because it could almost be how the 2003 series was, like, or even the comics where they just go to space and eventually they come back to bring everything all together.
How awesome would the Fugitoid look in this?
Oh yeah, that would have been a good point too. Yeah, that's right. Because that's what we just wrapped up with the 2012 series season 4 with the Fugitoid. It's a good call there, Justin. It would have been nice to see a little Fugitoid in this. And he would have made a great action figure. I know we have the NECA Fugitoid already, but this would have been a really cool one. And I guess, did you also get the McDonald's toys? These are the ones I was hyped to get from nice piece. Nice piece. Did you ever have I think I have one of these still sealed because they weren't that bad of action figures for this movie. I think they were okay for a Happy Meal toy.
Yeah, I think this was what, Burger King had this one?
Yeah, it was one of the I believe so.
Yeah, I definitely had a couple. Like there's some weird ones, but then like the basic like action figure ones are amazing.
Yeah,
I call them like sandbox toys because it's something where it's like you probably like find them in the sandbox or leave them in the sandbox, but it's really cool. And I think they all had like one specific action. Like Donatello would like spin the bow or something like that. Yeah. No, they were great.
I enjoyed those. All right, coming in at number 2. What do you got here?
My number 2. Let me pull this one up, and this is going to be of very little surprise to some
Alpha
people.
and Omegas.
Yeah, so the Archie Comics version of Leonardo is my like. I try to think of things like with in terms of like where does it fall on like the Batman the Animated Series scale? Like if Batman the Animated Series is the best possible version of Batman, what's your best possible version of this character? And I'm like, yep, Archie Comics every time. I friggin' love it.
Oh,
We only got like 72 issues of this, but
oh,
there are some maybe non-canonic versions that were continued from like Russian authors and things like that that are available. But this guy, when they started out, it was just, oh, it's a direct version of what you saw in the cartoon. Okay, that would have been fine, but it's like, is there enough, meat on the bone where we can do something a little bit different? Well, yeah, by the time you get to issue 8 with Leatherhead, it's like, oh, this is completely different. And then you get to issue 9, and then you get to like all these other ones, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we're in space. It's not just them fighting Shredder. That's awesome. Wait, there's a fight in the sewer, and there's like a chameleon guy and a knuckle. What? It's like some crazy stuff. This Leo, and I think the art here is done by Ken Mantroni, who is one of my favorites. Um, I just loved him. Like, he's awesome. He's such a leader. He's so deliberate in all the moves that he makes. He's he's just really fun to watch. And he's the guy who's like calling the shots and helping them on like these really crazy things. Like you don't expect to have to fight like, famine, pestilence, war and all of those things, but it's like, yeah, he's here, he's leading the charge with not just his brothers, but now he's got like the Mighty Mutanimals with him and all that. And I connect with this character. I just think he's one of my top versions of him.
well, you just talked me into getting my own. Like I say, sometimes I have to get my own Shellonomics here. I'm trying to break down everything in the Turtleverse. We're doing Tales of the Turtles next, and then I might go
Oh,
into
nice.
Rise. But I try to bounce back and forth, so it's just on all comics or all movies. So, did you say it's about 72 issues only for this, and that's the whole run?
The
That makes me happy.
Yeah, it's like 72 issues. There's
Okay.
various offshoots, like the April O'Neil had like 3. There's a Leatherhead and Donatello team up.
Ooh.
Michelangelo and Murdude, Mondo Gecko and Murdude, I think. Like some of those and then the Mighty Mutanimals comics. The cool thing about this though, Mike, is
Yeah.
that these are covered in the Archie adventures that I do on the Epic Tales from the Sewers. So we're up to like
Excellent.
issue 21 right now. I think we just did the Vid Vicious version. The guy who gets hit by lightning holding a television and turns into like a mutant television guy. So it gets really out there. But yeah,
Yeah.
we just finished that up. So
Man, so give us some more of a sneak peek here. What's the? Because I have the first issue. I had this as a kid. It's one of the few comics I had. It didn't get destroyed by a flood, with
nice.
Shredder's like looking on. So I still have that one.
Is
I don't
that
know if I'll get it graded one day, but it is cool to have in decent condition. So how is the action and what's the tone? Is it more like PG kid like, or do you actually get like decent fights?
it's it's like comic books were at that time, where it's like you're not going to see like Wolverine really stab somebody in a ton of blood and
Okay.
all that, where it's like
Yeah.
there may be some sort of like violence like that, but it's really like, oh, this guy's a bug and he got his antennas cut off. It's like stuff like that. So it's like it's there, it's legit. Like people
Okay.
die, like
Oh,
people
really?
get shot.
So it's
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
darker,
absolutely.
so it's more darker than the Saturday Morning Adventures because I was going to try to compare those. Also,
It
that does get dark. Okay.
It is, but Saturday Morning Adventures is more like the cartoon universe versus
Right.
this. This goes into like some really different tones, like about environmentalism and things like that. And it was kind of criticized as being like, oh, you're looking at it through this lens and you're trying to like do that with kids. I'm like, well, if they're going around the world and seeing the impact of all this stuff, it's like, why wouldn't they care about like, garbage dumped into the
Yeah.
ocean that's killing turtles? Like, so it kind of makes sense, things like that. But
Oh
it goes
wow.
in really weird ways too, because then there's also mystical aspects of things that they go into, but they tie it back to Dimension X and space and all that, and like the
Oh,
creation of mutants and things like that. And it's it's so cool because they took a lot of these concepts and brought them into the IDW series towards the end of the run, like 150. And it was this awesome homage where it's like, oh, now we're getting the Nova Posse. Now we're getting, Cuddly the Cowlick, and we're getting like all these other fun things that are showing up. So, it's really been like a backbone similar to Mirage, and that's one of the reasons that I just love this. This was my favorite comic growing up, was the Archie Turtles Adventures.
that is awesome. Without spoiling anything for you now, is it a satisfying ending like with the last issue? That's the only thing I want to be mentally prepared for. Does it do it justice in regards to bringing it all together, or is it just like we're like I don't know, like they just ended the series?
I'm gonna say this, Mike. I had, and I feel like this is almost like when people ask like Stephen King about his endings.
Yeah.
I feel like I have yet to encounter a single Ninja Turtles ending that has been satisfying
Okay.
at all. Like,
Okay.
I mean, like you
Gotcha.
talk about the original Mirage, this
Yeah.
Archie. Luckily with the last Ronin, that leads into other things. So I'm
Yes.
like, all right, I don't hate
Technically,
it.
right.
I
Yeah.
got what I wanted, which was the sequel and the prequel
Yeah.
and all that. So it's like, all right, cool. But still, it's like even if you go to the last Ronin 2, the re-evolution, it's like, all right, we got enough, but I want more. Like, don't give
Okay.
me a 5-issue book. So, I feel that way on most of these. Of all the
Yeah.
ones I've read, it's like, all right, where do we go from here? But
Yeah.
one of my favorite things this does, I will tell you that. The whole idea that all the turtles do is fight Shredder and the Foot Clan, to me, is lame.
Yeah.
And what are they like? What are they like as people outside of that revenge fantasy? And what are they like when they're not fighting Shredder anymore? When they
Yeah.
go to space, or when they're traveling around the world fighting Null and Maligna and stuff like that. It's like, well, that's what this really answered for me. And I'm like, well, I like that because yeah, they beat Shredder. And if they keep beating Shredder the same way all the time, it's like really boring.
Yeah.
So I
Just like the
enjoyed
original cartoon. That's why for me, again, if you guys are checking this out on Spotify or YouTube, Justin, I would love to hear your guys' comments and feedback on this. We're curious to see which ones made your list and which ones didn't. But yeah, we're getting to my number one very soon. Yeah, I did not have the Fred Wolf Leo in my top 5. I enjoyed that show as a kid. Without that show, we both know there would be no color blue for the headband because that's where the color headbandanas came from. We know a lot of stuff. We may not even be talking about this show.
Well,
That's
Leo was almost orange,
yeah,
so which would have been cool with me. But still, it's
yeah.
like he was almost orange.
Yeah, I mean that show started it all. But yeah, he did not make my list, and that's like you say, it just got a different incarnation of turtle may make that list. So be sure to check us out for the other turtles we break down. But for me, yeah,
That might be my number one turtle voice, though. I'll be honest with you. So.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Cam
yeah,
Clark.
I did. Well, and I wish they kept it. I guess we can talk about it real quick. I wish they kept his tone like they did in season 1 and season 2. In season 3, for me, just my personal opinion, he sounded way too pitched and too high pitched, and he sounded more like a whine. Like he always says, like in all those documentaries, that's all he talks about. Is, we've got to do something. That's all. It's all he had were his lines. He didn't have anything else. He didn't get the training. He didn't get the top leadership role. It didn't. It almost seemed like he wasn't the leader. I mean, a lot of people even, and I'm going to probably say it when I do the Donatello one. Donatello seems more like the leader in that cartoon to me because he's the one with all the answers.
He's always the one with the answers.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
our top dog here, the alpha, is the 2003 Leonardo from that cartoon. Well done. Tip of the cap to Peter Laird and the team that put this show together. This show has aged very well.
Yeah.
I believe this. If someone were to come and ask me and say, Mike, I have no idea what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is. Where should I start? I would start them on this show because it has everything. Now, again, depending on the age, but in my opinion, it's got everything. It's got a little bit of comedy, some great action, continuing storylines, which is what me and TMNT Dare talk about all the time. This show always had you wanting more. You're craving more and more. And when a season finale would happen, how are they going to top it? They'd find a way to top it. And for me, I'm a Michelangelo guy, but I actually enjoy Leo more than Mikey. If I had to choose my favorite turtle in this, it's Leonardo. He excels so well in his leadership role. We talked earlier when you brought up the 2003 show. I just love that gauntlet fight he takes with everybody. He is so fatigued, but he still goes strong. And even gets a little darker and edgier.
He steals that goblin sword.
Yes, exactly. I think it was season 4. And I think I even said this is my favorite season because, like you said, we all love seeing, classic Shredder, Leonardo, Foot Clan, Turtles. But give me something else. Give me something I haven't seen. These guys can do much more. And that's what we saw in the Mirage comics. You brought up Archie, which I'm very excited to start digging into now and get my hands on, especially if you're pushing it. I just love how dark because he had so much guilt and hate that he was almost like a Batman Leonardo in this show. And I was like, I'm kind of digging this. Like, where is this going to go? How he motivates his brothers. He's trying to get Mikey to, excel in his fighting later on. Even Splinter's had enough. He's like, you can't teach me anymore. Like, I've learned all I've taught from you. There was some great, almost like a rival between him and his sensei for a while.
Yeah.
It all comes together. How he does take out the Shredder, chopping his head off, paying homage to the comics. But as you said, spoiler, that was not the ending of Shredder. I don't know what more they could have done to make this character better. I like his fighting in this show. He does a great job with the leading. Voice actor did a fantastic job. I apologize. Yep. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but if you do, feel free to give him a plug.
Michael S. I can't say his last name.
I really, I mean, this is my Leonardo. The tone, just how stern he is. He shows his leader. He encourages and motivates his brothers. Love the chemistry with him and Usagi. I really don't think there's anything missing here. And my moment again is just I love that gauntlet spot, man. It's something we really didn't get to see in our universe of the Fred Wolf show. So Fred Wolf show I like, but it just couldn't make my top 5. So this is what I'm intrigued. Here's the main event of the podcast. So is Justin's number 1. This is a huge, passionate Leonardo fan. There's so many Leos to choose from. I can't wait to see what you got.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball here, just because I think that we have to acknowledge it. I have one pick that isn't my number 1, but it is definitely an honorable mention, which is this one right here, the Mutant Mayhem Leonardo. And I just had to bring this up because it's the newest, the shiniest Leo and all that. And, you know, as old heads, as they call us, we're like, oh, we shouldn't like that. This is for kids. Okay, whatever. I love it. I think it's great. I think that everything about this movie was fantastic. It was for a whole different group of kids. They get their own versions of these characters. But this was Leonardo's movie. Like, everything about this was Leonardo's movie. Like, you got a little bit of Raph, a little bit of Mikey, a little bit of Donatello, but Leo's the one that got to grow as a person. We got to see him as a leader and all that. And you can argue all you want about Rise and say, well, that was Leo's journey. Yeah, that was a cool movie. I didn't love the series, but the movie was really cool. This was awesome, though. Like, this took a character, they grounded him, they figured out what to do with him, and then it's like, okay, we're going to give him a goal, and he's going to progress towards that goal. And I love this film. I thought it was so cool.
How'd you like the real quick too? How'd you like is the Netflix show worth watching or the
yeah
spinoff? Okay,
absolutely. It's like cell shading animation, so it's not like the 3D, but it's really fun. It's not bad, and I mean there's actually some really good fights and stuff in it, so I would suggest it. Okay. I don't think everybody's gonna love it, like if you don't love the design of the turtles and stuff, but if you like this character design and you're into that whole like Into the Spider-Verse sort of like animation style, like I think it's cool as hell.
No, I will say this too. You have to kind of go in with these to an open mind. You have to remember, like you say, we're 40 years old. These movies are not going to be directed towards us. It doesn't have PG-13. It's PG mostly. It's kids. You got your fart jokes, your humor in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're right, though. I guess, I guess just a good example of trying to rewatch something and actually making it better if you're a Turtle fan was Next Mutation. Now, Leonardo to me is a big oaf in that show, but I enjoyed watching Next Mutation doing these podcast episodes.
Interesting.
It's not as bad as people remember. I mean, you have to if you can just eliminate in your mind, if you can block out the cheesy sound effects when they, punch and fight, it's not that bad. Bone Steel's kind of a cool character. And even, Leo's got the leader role down in those Michael Bay movies. I know we didn't make either of our lists either, but Leo was the leader in those movies. And I thought Johnny Knoxville did an okay Leo, just to give him a little credit over there.
I actually like the second voice actor way better.
Second's good too. Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't, prepare with his name and all that, but I really enjoyed him. Right. I think that, if you ever do a Bay discussion, you'll have to get Liddy on because she loves the Bay movie. So,
maybe
I'm really a fan of only the elevator scene, to be honest, in the first movie. But I like the second one, the in Shadows of the Past or whatever.
Well, if this thing breaks out, maybe we could. Maybe we'll get her as the top 5 Aprils. She's the Channel 6 news girl.
Oh, she is. So also a big Mikey fan. So
excellent.
Right. So that was not my number 1 pick, but I'll give you mine. Because there is some overlap, as I mentioned on the list. Let me find. There we go.
It's hard, especially when you're a passionate guy here. Ooh.
Okay, so this is Leonardo. This is the Sophie Campbell art style of Leonardo from the IDW comic series. Okay. The number 1 pick that I have to have for this, the IDW series ran from 2009 through. It just ended with issue 150 last year, right? Then they restarted it. So then we've got now 1 through 10. We're on issue 10 of it.
So
And
it's like
Leo
season
is,
2? Is that how that works? Sorry, just for comics. So it's like I can
geez,
read that and it's like a new season or just a whole new beginning. Like that series is over.
they call it like a new run, but it's a continuation because they didn't
Oh,
reboot it, which is awesome. So I'm
Okay,
glad
cool,
that they didn't
cool.
do that.
Okay,
But this is the Leonardo that did go on and become Dark Leonardo in those issues, like I said, 25 through 29 at or around there with like some of the specials. Like I think the Karai special has like a whole bunch of good stuff in it. You had that Ninja Turtles Deviations where he was the evil version of himself. But like past that, this is the only version that shows us who's Leonardo when he disagrees with Splinter on such a fundamental level. When Splinter goes crazy, takes over the Foot Clan, and Leonardo disagrees. Who is he then? Who is he a leader? How does he work when he's not, like kissing up to Splinter? Like it also shows he's the first one that takes a life out of all of them. He they think he kills Slash in like issue 15, something along those lines, because he ends up stabbing Slash like right underneath like the front plate of his like turtle shell, like the carapace, and he gets stabbed with one of Leo's sword. And Leo has a real hard time with this. Was there another way? Did I do everything? I did it to protect the lives of my brothers, and he really has just like a existential crisis about it. And he's the one that has like a spiritual connection to, his mother and things like that. He's the oldest brother of 4 brothers that were killed by the Shredder and then reincarnated into turtle bodies. And he's the old one. So it's like he knew what it was like to actually know his mother. They didn't. So he's got all these different sort of levels to him. He's a teacher. He teaches martial arts in Mutant Town. There's so many things. One of my favorite moments is in the Micro series. And this one, they have that whole rooftop scene from the Mirage comic. And it's amazing. And he's fighting all these foot soldiers and he's getting the best of them until there's this one at the end of the roof and he goes to fight him and he gets destroyed. And we come to find out that it's the Shredder, but the Shredder's not in like his full ceremonial helmet and like he didn't need anything to beat Leonardo. And he drops him in a dumpster off a roof. You're like, wow, he destroys him. So how does he deal with that? How does he come back to it? And I mean, he's just an absolute great character to watch. And I'm such a fan. And as you mentioned before, the Dark Leonardo is one of the coolest things that could have ever happened because he's the most unlikely to turn. You know, he's so loyal. Like that's one of his core values. It's like you never would have seen that. But then how does that affect his relationships with his brothers after they've got to turn him back? And that's kind of where I am with my readings right now because we just did I think issue 29 and the next one is like the Bebop and Rocksteady issue and all that. So it's like we just did those, and I'll be getting back to that and the Archie ones after I finish up the last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution.
Oh man! So and Kevin Eastman did have influence in this IDW series right in the beginning. So it's almost like he gets a second chance. Oh, he still is involved in them too. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. So yeah, imagine getting a second chance to recreate this, character that is just loved and adored by fans. And I would say too, if I had to pick where somebody starts in the comics, I think IDW is always the gateway Ninja Turtle drug, pretty much to getting hyped in the comic world. There, 150 issues, and it's still going, which is incredible.
And it's not even just that, but then it's like, oh, you've got the 4 issues of Turtles in Time. You've got the Micro series where they did 12 issues of those. You've got TMNT Universe. You've got Bebop and Rocksteady Hit the Road. Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything. The April and Casey series, the Mighty Mutanimals. So it's like, it's so much more. And most of the time, the writer is always Tom Waltz, for all the way until issue 100. Then from issue 100 through 150, it's all Sophie Campbell, right? And Sophie Campbell's an amazing artist and writer. So like on there. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't like what happened after that. That's fine. Just read issues 1 through 100. But then there's other stuff like you talked about Saturday Morning Adventures. Yes. Eric Burnham writing that book. He was the one who wrote most of the Foot Clan stuff with Mateus Santaluco. So all of that, like the secret history of the Foot Clan, like they really developed these characters, these icons. It's like you have an idea who every character is by issue 150. You're like, oh yeah, no, they would never do that. Oh yeah, no, I don't know. Or maybe wow, Michelangelo's changed or something. So. But their Leo to me has been like, this is even better than the Archie series, which was always my favorite. So
Well, I'm going to do a little bonus here for those who have made it all the way here. Justin, as we've talked about, is probably the biggest turtle comic friend I have. So if people do want to read these, there's just so many to choose from. Like I said, Saturday Morning, IDW, Archie, Tales of the TMNT Mirage. There's some based on the 2012. Tons and tons of crossovers: Batman, Power Rangers, Street Fighter, He-Man. The list goes on. So to those who are trying to get into the turtle comics, how do you go about it? Like, how do you read? Where do you read? And how do you avoid burnout where you just get like too much data? Like, do you have a routine or?
good question. Because it's funny because you're saying that, and I'm like, I was just reading the new issue of Casey Jones, who gets his own series, and that's coming out next week. So I was like, oh, I've got a review copy of that. I got to check it. But like, I just read before that Mutant Nation, which is another version that they have out. Like they have like just the Turtle comics that came out last week. It's like TMNT Adventures, Mutant Nation, regular Ninja Turtles, and then they've got the Power Rangers crossover.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a Shredder comic coming too. I mean, it's just
Shredder came out the week before, absolutely. So it's like it's feast or famine, and like now is a good time to be a Turtles fan. It depends. Like I think that if you want to just get into Ninja Turtles, check out the IDW series. Get the first hardcover book, or you can go on like Amazon as Comicology. You can read all of them there. Absolutely. So you can do the unlimited, and you could read through all of the comics all the way like 1 through 150. Plus all the extras that they have for there. You can find anything there. So I would suggest the IDW series to start with. If you're a fan of only the Mirage stuff and you haven't picked up a book in a while, check out the crossovers. Specifically, check out the crossover for Stranger Things, which is amazing and had no right to be that good, but it was amazing. Check that out. Check out The Last Ronin. Check out The Lost Years. Check out Re-Evolution, the sequel to the Last Ronin. Like, check those out. And if you don't want to get into it because you're adamant that I'm just a Mirage fan and all that, fine, you do you. But I'll tell you, just remember, there's some crazy crap in the middle of that Mirage run that doesn't even make sense to me. So it's like, what the hell is this? Like milk? I don't even know. It's like crazy characters and all that. And then like, what if you're a new fan and you like just Rise of the TMNT? I still think that I would point you towards the IDW series. Check that out, see what you like. But there's also comics coming out about Mutant Mayhem, so you can read those and expose your kids to this stuff. Be like, hey, here's a comic, put it in their hand, read it with them. Like that's kind of like the whole idea of why we started doing the comic readings as like an audiobook, because I want you to listen to this with your kid while you're reading the comic book. That was the whole point. Like, let's do this. Let's get this into someone who's maybe not going to have the time to read these comics, but they can listen to them. Like, that's why I wanted to do this. So
yeah, exactly. We got you. So Justin, yes, if people who are new here on Chelonomics don't know you, even though we've had you on the show multiple times here, where can they find you and your podcast?
You can find Epic Tales from the Sewers anywhere that you find podcasts. I mean, we're on Audible now. We're on Amazon. We're on Spotify, Apple. We have our own website, epictalesfromthesewers.com. YouTube, we have some videos on there, but most of them are just kind of like audio. And the whole idea is if you're listening, if maybe you're driving, to work in your car, you want to pop on and just like listen to a comic book and it's Ninja Turtles. That's kind of the idea. Then the other idea is exactly what we do right here. Get some cool Turtles related people or creators or actors together and just interview them about what Turtles mean to them.
It's been a great time here. Final question for you. Favorite Leonardo quote, be it from the comics, movies. Mine is the funny thing about anger, let it consume you. Soon enough, you lose sight of everything.
I mean, I have this one committed to memory, so I'm going to say surrender, Shredder, or face the consequences of your own action, or turtle power or something like that. I don't know. It would have
enough
to
with
be
the turtle power. Is that why you like Seth Green?
Something.
Because of the crossover when Leonardo says turtle power and he's like, enough with the turtle power.
I mean, kind of, but I mean, any favorite quote that I would have would either be Brian Tochi from the movie, or it would be or it would be Cam Clark doing some sort of Leonardo thing.
Yeah.
Maybe from like the first couple of Turtle tracks. But yeah,
Hey, did you say
Clark.
pizza? That's another one too. Yeah, just how Tochi.
He said pizza.
He just says it's so hyped. Oh man. Well, Justin, it's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you for kickstarting off our top 5 Ninja Turtles, and we hope to see you real soon again, buddy.
Thanks, man.